Hey guys, here's our lesson over the Queen Mab monologue, spoken by Mercutio from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. There are three questions I want us to consider in our reading of the monologue. First, who is Queen Mab? Number two, what does she do? And number three, what can we learn about her, specifically about Mercutio's character and his intent with the monologue? Just some context and a reminder that Mercutio begins this monologue after Romeo has had his heart broken by Rosaline, this girl that we do not meet, this character. And Romeo's kind of down and out, and they're about to go to this party at the Capulet house. So Mercutio's first intent at the beginning of this monologue is to cheer Romeo up. So we can make an argument that his tone starts off in a very specific way, but his tone throughout the monologue changes. So before we can kind of dive into these questions, I want to pause and have you watch this video that really embodies his tone. Be thinking about specifically how does his tone start in the monologue and how does it end.
Hung up like Rosaline and me. Woo! Hey, John Romeo, we must have you dance.
Not I, believe me. You have dancing shoes with nimble soles. I have a soul of lead.
You are a lover. Borrow Cupid's wings and soar with them above a common bound.
Love's heavy burden do I sing.
Too great a pressure for a tilt thing.
Is love a tender thing? It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and it pricks like thorn.
If love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for pricking and you beat love down.
But 'tis no whit to go.
Why, may one ask?
I dreamt a dream tonight.
And so did I.
What was yours?
That dreamers often lie.
In bed asleep while they do dream things true.
Oh, then I see Queen Mab has been with you. She is the fairy's midwife, and she comes in shape no bigger than an agate stone, on the forefinger of an alderman, joined with a team of little atomies over men's noses as they lie asleep. Her chariot is an empty hazelnut. Her wagoner a small, gray-coated gnat, and in this state she gallops, night by night, through lovers' brains, and then they dream of love, or lawyers' fingers who straight dream on fees. Sometimes she driveth o'er a soldier's neck, and then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, and being thus righted, swears a prayer or two and sleeps again. This is the hag, when maids lie on their backs, that presses them and learns them face to bear, making them silly of good carriage. This is she! This is she!
Okay, we saw a huge shift in tone throughout that monologue. So a couple of things that I thought about when I was watching is Mercutio's tone starts out, if he's trying to cheer Romeo up, he's really mocking him. He's being silly and playful. So those are some tone words that I would use. Go ahead and see if you can't pause the video and guess. How does his tone change to the end of the monologue? How would you describe his tone? Make sure you're being really specific. All right, if you're resuming, that means you've had a chance to guess how his tone changes. I would say his tone changes in intensity, so you could argue that his tone is now intense. He's bitter, he's angry, he is maybe not so much disturbed, but frustrated, but deeply frustrated, not like a mild frustration. So we see this major change, but we don't quite understand why just yet. So let's just start off and go back to the basics. But who is Queen Mab? So looking at lines 53 to 69, I want you to stop there. Let's just look for any details that describe Queen Mab within those lines, specifically how she gets around. They don't describe much about her physicality as much as they describe her carriage. So consider that. If you want to start off on your own, pause, and then come back and see what I notice, or if you're just a little unsure, you can watch me do it this first time. Okay, so if you're watching me, that means you've either had a chance to attempt it by yourself or you're a little unsure and you want to see me model it first. So here I noticed the fairy's midwife, so she must deliver fairy babies, which is kind of cute. But she's very, very small. She's no bigger than an agate stone. And even though I don't really know what agate means, I know what a stone is, right? So I can assume that she's small. And she can fit on a finger of a person, so that means she's very, very small. She's drawn with a team of little atomies, meaning she must be riding around in something, and the atomies are kind of like small, tiny bugs. So those are almost like her horses in a carriage. Athwart men's noses as they lie asleep. Her wagon spokes are made of spinner's legs. The kind of animal that I imagine spins is going to be a spider, right? So she has wheels made of spider's legs. And the cover of her wagon is going to be wings of grasshoppers. Her traces of smallest spider webs. So as her wagon rolls along, it leaves behind cobwebs as she moves along across people's noses or their fingers. Her collars, we think of collars like whatever's around the neck, so maybe it's referring to like her jewelry or necklace. Of the moon shine's watery beams. So I think of moonshine, it glows, it's bright, it's ethereal, it's beautiful. So perhaps she's lovely to look at. She carries a whip made of cricket's bone. And her wagoner, which is kind of like the person who drives the carriage, is a gray-coated gnat. And again, he's also very small. He's not half so big as a round little worm. Her actual chariot itself is made of an empty hazelnut. And it was made by a squirrel, which I think is pretty adorable as well. So at that point, we have kind of a good picture of Queen Mab. Go ahead and pause the video, see if you can't draw a little sketch of her, maybe in the margins or the space of your sheet. Okay, now we know kind of what she looks like, how she gets around. Let's figure out what she does. So looking at line 70 to about, let's say about 83. Go ahead and try this on your own first, pause, then come back and check. All right, so in this state, she gallops by night. So she travels in the nighttime through lovers' brains, and they dream of love. Lovers dream of love. That word dream, I see, is repeated quite a bit. So I wonder if maybe she gives dreams to people. Lawyers, when she gives them dreams, they dream of fees or money. Ladies dream of kisses, which off the angry Mab blisters with plagues, or with blisters plagues, meaning she isn't always nice all the time, but it looks like these dreams up here are fairly nice, but sometimes she's not always very nice to people. When she goes over a courtier's nose, he dreams of a suit, which could be like a suit of cards or a marriage proposal. And then when she gives dreams to a parson or a preacher, he dreams of another benefice, so someone who's going to donate money to his church. So we can tell that she gives dreams, but what kind of dreams? These are specifically dreams that people desire, things that people desire, except not always, right? In the same way that sometimes she gives you blisters, sometimes she doesn't always give you happy dreams. So for example, line 83 is where we start to see the shift happen, the shift in tone. The soldier's neck, he dreams of cutting foreign throats, at which he starts and wakes and being frighted, swears a prayer or two and sleeps again. So in that instance, she gave him a nightmare. She doesn't always give good dreams. But if we think about this, what does this reveal, or what can we learn if maybe she doesn't always give positive things in her dreams? I wonder if we can maybe take a guess and see what this reveals about Mercutio, or maybe what could Queen Mab represent if we know she's not actually real. Take a guess, pause, and come back. If you're playing, that means you have a good idea, or at least a good guess of what you think Queen Mab represents, or what we can learn from her. But I wonder if she represents reality, that our hopes and dreams don't always come true. And Mercutio's maybe trying to tell this to Romeo, maybe because he knows from experience. And he's trying to tell Romeo that, hey, love doesn't always turn out the way you want. So if you came to some similar conclusion, sorry, my typing is a little slow, a little funky there, but if you came to something similar, you're on the right track. So what you need to do next is, as best as you can, write this short paragraph on the back using the template provided. So if he starts out mocking, silly, plainful, his tone changes to intense, bitter, angry, revealing that he's trying to teach Romeo that, Queen Mab represents reality and that hopes and dreams don't always come true. So I've given you a template. And I like to fix the template just a little bit because I don't really want you to follow it exactly. So let's see if I can't get this fixed for you. Okay, so I want you to use this template. Mercutio's attitude towards Romeo during the Queen Mab speech is blank. So choose one of those tone words we selected from earlier in the monologue. So mocking, silly, playful, whatever you choose. Demonstrated when he says. Let's skip this part and just do when he says. comma, and then use some evidence, 2 pieces of evidence from the monologue to show that tone. Make sure that it's earlier in the speech, not later, because that's got to show the shift in tone. Then say, however, his attitude changes on line blank. We said about 83, 84, when he says, again, let's do it this way, and then find another piece of evidence, to a more blank tone. So choose maybe bitter, angry, distraught, disturbed, whatever, revealing blank, and then explain your analysis, kind of what we said before over here, about how he is trying to teach Romeo something. So write this in the space below, and then turn this in when you're done. Thanks for watching.